Hello, everyone. Welcome to my 102nd live stream.
Brian?
Hello, everyone. Thank you guys for coming.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, Epic. Hi, Ken.
So this episode, I thought it was better than the first one.
Yeah, I definitely think so too. Um, this was quite an episode, honestly. Hey, Ken, thanks for coming. What did you think about this episode?
Um, I thought it was good. I guess.
What do you guys think about the whole Maggie thing? Like, where are you with her exactly on the support? Like, are you with her, against her? Are you Team Negan, Team Maggie, or just a bit of both?
Yeah, after what Maggie did to Gage, I'm with Team Negan.
Okay, I'm neutral because this is my thing. I'm not Team Negan because number one, this dude left Maggie to die, and also Maggie leaving Gage is justified because no. Here's my thing. People, and this is people. How are you gonna be like people who are okay with Negan leaving Maggie to die are the same people who are saying she left Gage to die. Maggie is not she's not a coward. She's a liability to the group. Gage was, and he stole from them, and they had the risk of them all dying if they let him in. He could have been bitten.
Well, yeah, have your problems, Gage. He did not deserve to die like that.
Of course,
Guys,
like they definitely could have let him in. I think this was stupid because they literally had 5 minutes talking about we can't let him in. No, no, no. Like,
great Maggie impression.
Hey,
Hey,
Brian, do
Walter
you
Dead.
agree with me that Gage didn't deserve that?
I 100% agree. Like, listen, guys, I'm not for. I know what he did in the past, like season 10, what he did with the whole Lydia thing, and then what he did trying to leave. Yeah, I'll admit it's not. It doesn't help his character. But here's the thing, though. Um, it's one of those things where it's like you have to really ask yourself: is what he did really worth dying a brutal death? Like the things that he's done, and it just doesn't. I don't feel like it justifies it.
Hey,
also,
Brian.
I don't blame, like, him beating up Lydia is wrong, but he, number one, he didn't even want to do it. It was kind of like a thing where he felt like, I think Gage felt like he had to do it. Like, he didn't want to do it, but he felt like he had to do it, which is two
Guys,
different things.
oh, hey
So
guys,
I don't
sorry.
blame him. My bad.
Oh, it's okay. Sorry, it's just a chat. Um, Rowdy, he's here in the chat. He says masterpiece episode in my top 10 of the show. Wow. He says that she deserved it. Negan is justified. I think that there's no difference between what Maggie did and what Negan did.
Yeah,
Because because Negan left Maggie because she was a threat to him, to his life. Maggie chose to leave Gage behind or to let him die a horrible death because here's the thing though, because she said they don't have the ammo, but it's one of those things where it's like it's kind of a risk for all of them, but then again it's like they could take on the walkers, they really could, or they can just like close the door again, they could barricade it with a chair, in the train. I mean, just I don't know, it really would not have required that much effort to save that person.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah, Epic.
Uh, hey, Brian.
Yeah.
I just have to say, like, that whole scene where it's panning through the windows and Daryl's shooting the walkers with the gun, that was just so unrealistic.
Hmm. Wow. So you actually did not like that scene?
No, I didn't mind that scene. It just felt like a video game.
Oh, it was. It was inspired from Resident Evil. Like they did that scene like to be like Resident Evil. I know they did.
To be honest with you, that scene just even made Daryl even more of just a untouchable super force.
Oh yeah, they have made Daryl into a god in The Walking Dead. He's just god status, and it's like he's not even human.
I mean, I'm like, really? You're gonna give Daryl a scene? I mean, to give Daryl a scene like that is really unnecessary. I mean, I know it's the final season, but still, there's no excuse for having like a scene like that. Like, really? And another thing too, Maggie leaving Gage to die. I'm sorry, but I know everybody else has their own opinion, and again, they're entitled to have their own opinions. But in my honest opinion, Maggie leaving Gage to die was ridiculous. It made Maggie look like a villain, and it made Maggie look like the selfish B word character.
Hey,
like
Brian.
And it makes yeah. Go ahead, Epic.
I just wanted to say that when that bigger dude pinned Negan up against the wall, I did like how Negan blurted out, like, "I risked my life. I killed Alpha. If it wasn't for me, you'd all be on a pike."
Yeah, that's true. Okay, hey, hold on, guys. Let's let Ken talk a little bit.
I was gonna say I agree with you a little bit, Walker did, but my thing, like, obviously people are entitled to their opinions, but I'm also entitled to mine, and I think, like, this is an opinion. I think this is just how life works. Is like most people. I'm not saying you guys, but most people who, like, a lot of people agreed with Negan leaving Maggie to die, but those people are the same people saying Maggie's a psychopath or bad for leaving Gage to die. What's the difference between those is that Negan left Maggie, he was just being selfish in that, in my opinion. Maggie leaving Gage to die, that was like her trying to protect everyone. And also, when they left Gage to die, it was kind of like a vote thing because you see, only Alden is the one who's fighting it. No one else cares really. They're just gonna let him. Like Maggie's group, even Negan didn't really care as much for leaving him, and he's a liability. Maggie isn't.
I mean, with Maggie, she still. I mean, I see where you're coming from, but then again, Maggie still had the opportunity to save Gage, and like Brian said, they still could have let him in and still barricade the door and still took on the walkers, even if they got through. But you have to understand the fact that, sure, Gage did some messed up things, but did he really deserve to go out like that? No, but like Brian said, they could have opened the door and let him in.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
But do you agree with what Negan said when he made another speech to everyone about killing Alpha and all that?
I will say that in certain ways, yes. Negan has definitely helped it with the Whisper War. The thing is, though, it's kind of hard to say if everyone would have died if he didn't do that with Alpha, because like then again it's like couldn't Alpha have died some other way? But what I am trying to say is that Negan has definitely helped, but as far as, well, here's the thing, I will say Negan definitely deserved that hit from Maggie and being pinned to the wall, like after leaving her behind. Like, I get it, the writers even confirmed that she would have done it to him if it was reversed in that scene. But I'm just saying that, like, still, it's Negan wouldn't risk his life pulling Maggie up because it would require like this a little bit of effort, kind of like letting Gage in. It's like if you have the chance of saving someone's life who, in a way, doesn't really deserve to die for something, and you choose to let them die without really even trying to a little bit save them, you're technically killing that person. You know what I mean? And as far as like Gage, this is crazy how they take a minor character that most fans won't even really know that well, but still, it's just the way they did it with that death. I mean, it gets even darker when you realize that like Maggie became the leader of Hilltop when Gage was just 9 years old. Like, so she probably knew him a little bit.
I want to tell y'all something. I just found that out. So y'all remember when Maggie hung Gabe? What's his name?
Gregory.
For Gregory. You know those two kids that came out. I don't remember who said it, but it was confirmed that those two kids was Addie and the two people who were on the pikes that were his friends. They were just little.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
know they can. I believe they confirmed it. Rowdy says Maggie is a psychopath. Maggie will be a
Exactly.
villain. I'm calling it.
I mean, she left Gage to die, and it's like, why? Because it makes Maggie look bad. There's no excuse, like there's no denying that because Maggie, like Ken said, like because Gage was 9 years old, meaning and since Gage was 9 years old, Maggie was the leader of Hilltop at that time. So for Maggie to leave Gage to die like that just makes her look bad, in my opinion. And she taught and I'm not gonna spoil like I know like I'm not trying to spoil 3. I'm gonna say like Maggie says something that's really gonna piss you off, and I'm like, really, you're talking about rebuilding this community when you pretty much like technically abandon your own people to go play in the woods with Georgie, like really?
But something else I want to say is like what Walker Dead said about Maggie leaving the group. Let's not forget that Michonne left her group in the middle of a war. Maggie did not. She left. She left her
Well,
group.
with Michonne, it's different because Michonne, the reason she left was to find Rick. But I do agree with the
That's
fact
not.
when she should have said goodbye to everybody. That's why I didn't like her goodbye that much.
That
Because I'm
wasn't.
like, really, Michonne, you're gonna pull a Maggie and not say goodbye to anybody other than your child?
That's what I was saying. That's not. At least when Maggie left, she left her group when the best they had ever been. Michonne decided to leave her group in the middle of a war. She could have waited until that war was over. She not only did she leave her 2 kids basically to die in a war almost. She also
Yeah, I
like
definitely
didn't
see
say
that. I
goodbye to
definitely
them.
see that. It makes like not to cut you off, but I definitely see where you're coming from. Like really, like you said, I agree with that. She should have waited until the end of the Whisper War like waited until the Whisperer was done to leave. But the fact that just didn't do that just makes Michonne look worse than Maggie, in my opinion. Like, really, you're gonna like let's be real. Like there's a war going on. Someone says like, "Oh, I'm gonna leave," but then again, doesn't say goodbye to Daryl, Carol, or anybody else other than your one kid and not think about the other kid. Like how like if that was your if that was you in that situation and somebody didn't say goodbye to you during a war or after a war, how would you feel about that?
Hey Brian.
Yeah, Epic.
So how did you feel about the Commonwealth stuff, and how did you feel about the scene when Eugene was spurting all the stuff about Stephanie and Mercer was staring at him very coldly?
Oh my goodness, dude. Eugene was in PP Pants City again. Oh my goodness, that was such a good scene. The actor for Mercer, man, he is so intimidating. Like, the Mercer character, and just here's the thing. I didn't like how they were back in their cell, like in the episode. Like, I'm like, wait, what happened to their uniforms? How come they weren't caught? Like, that part was a bit of an issue. But I just love. I'll admit, I really like what they're doing with Princess. I mean, she was so cringy in the comics, but in the show, I'll admit, yeah, the actress is kind of doing a good job, like really good. Because I love the part where she was like, that soldier was like, "You want to speak to my supervisor?" And she's like, "Yeah, we want to speak to the manager," like as if it's some kind of like grocery store or something. And then,
Yeah, that part was hilarious. Like, imagine her and Negan meeting, and they're like making jokes or whatever. That would be great. Him
yeah,
and Negan becoming friends.
They had a missed
Brian.
opportunity with Ezekiel and Princess, I think.
In the comics, yes, but in the show, I mean, I'm glad they're doing it in the show because in the comics they just didn't do that shit.
Hey Brian.
language.
My bad.
Yeah, Epic.
I just want to say, like, that do you think that was really Stephanie at the end of the episode?
I don't think so because, first off, how many Stephanies could there possibly be in the Commonwealth? Just think about this for a second. Like, Eugene only said her first name. Imagine they get the wrong Stephanie. That would be hilarious.
I mean, Brian, not to cut you off, but I was just telling Ethic this. He was asking me the same question. I'm like, I don't think that's Stephanie because if you remember, like back then, like back when they announced the casting for like Mercer and Stephanie, like for the show, they announced that the casting for Stephanie was this this brown woman, this different actress. And when you see Stephanie in the show, that's not really the actress that was cast as the character. So it makes me think as a fan, like, is the Commonwealth hiding something? Like, is there something darker to the Commonwealth in the show we haven't seen yet?
I
get this weird vibe.
I think they just recasted her because I don't think they would make it that obvious that it's not her. I think it would make sense if they would have just said they casted the character that was in that episode. So I think they just recasted her because that defeats the purpose of it being a surprise. Because I think they just recasted her, in my opinion.
It was a little like weird how she just came in like, I'm looking for Eugene Porter, and then Eugene like, put his hand in there, and she was like, "Hey, I'm Stephanie."
I mean, I don't think they recasted her. I mean, let's be real. If they casted like this actress, like this brown woman, like actress to play the character, then that's the actress that's going to play the character, because I don't know, for them to recast like this early, it makes no sense. Like, why? Like, let's be real. Why would you why would you do a recast and not announce it? Why do a recast if you already casted this actress to play this character? That's what makes no sense to me. Like, really, I don't know. It just makes no sense. I'm telling you something. I'm telling you guys something weird's going on at the Commonwealth that we haven't seen yet.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
Brian.
Yeah.
So how have you from what we saw from episode 1, 2, overall, how are you feeling about the Commonwealth?
I feel like it's taking too long to get to the thing, to that get introduced to Pamela and all that.
Me and Epic were kind of talking about that. I don't mind them doing that, but also what I was talking about, this is not a spoiler, but there's like a picture of like Rosita in Commonwealth armor, and I think Angela King confirmed they haven't started C or D of they haven't started, like, technically season 11 is 2 seasons, so they haven't started the second part. I'm considering the season to be part 1, part 2, 16, and I don't think they've started part 2 yet. So I'm like, you have a whole another 16 episodes, basically a season of Commonwealth. I don't know how they're going to be able to do that. That's why
I don't see how they're going to be able to do something like that, because in the comics there's not enough Commonwealth material to go upon. So I don't know how they're going to be doing the whole season 11 B or C with the whole Commonwealth thing. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian.
I can definitely see.
Brian?
What's going on? Yeah.
I just wanted to say, like, how did you feel about Maggie's story about coming across that like old man, and then she like stuffed some cloth in his mouth, and then went to his house, found the chicks with the severed arms, legs, and then the throat like ripped out and stuff, and eyes gouged out and all that? How'd you feel about that story?
I'll admit, a little creeped out, but as I was hearing the story, all I could really think was like, yes, Maggie, but here's the thing: who put you in that situation? Because when I heard that, I'm thinking of, wait a minute, so Maggie did not even leave Hilltop with a crew. She just took Herschel and took off by herself, endangering her 2-year-old son. I'm sorry, but this just makes Maggie look even worse. I mean,
Agreed. Like, bro, like how, like when I look at Maggie, I'm like, even in season 11, episode 3, I'm like, how retarded can you be? Because I know this is not really a spoiler, but in like season 11, episode 3, but Maggie has like the audacity to look at Negan and say exactly what she said in like the trailer. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, she literally says this to Negan in the trailer. You destroyed everything we built. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how can you say that when that wasn't Negan's fault during the Whisper War? Negan during the Whisper War was doing everything he could to save, like, to save everybody. Hell, he put his life on the line.
Walker Dead. I don't think she's talking about the Whisper War. I think she's talking about like all that war. I don't think she's talking about the Whisper War because she doesn't know
But
that.
still, though, it happened like 6.5 years ago. Same with Glenn's death. It happened 6.5 years ago. And the fact that she's still bringing it up, it's like, why? When that still happened a long time ago.
Walker Dead, you know who Hitler is. Say if he was still alive right now, don't you think what does
Hitler have to do with this?
No, I'm saying just as a thing. If he was still alive, don't you think everyone would hate him for everything he did?
Of course, because with Hitler, it's different. Because with Hitler, he fucking murdered a lot of people.
Dude, language.
Oh, sorry, my bad about that. My bad just came out. I don't know what's going on. I apologize, but still though, like, of course it was the hate him. I'm like, bro.
The reason why there's not that many like Negan haters is because all the people who hate Negan just stopped watching the show. Because let's not forget, when Negan was introduced, that kind of made the show die down a little bit. So that's probably the only reason why. Like, because you would think the sides would be like 50-50, but it's really 75 to 25. I think everyone who doesn't like Negan quit the show a long time ago, I'm guessing.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the ending of this episode when they're like walking down the street and then that older guy Daryl found gets shot in the freaking head out of nowhere, and then we see the Reapers marching down the road towards them?
Great question, Epic. When I remember watching it, and I'm like, no, don't end it right here. Don't end it right when they're just walking, and boom, they just end it. I'm like, dang it, because I like it's so predictable sometimes. But when I watched that, I'm like, wait a minute, where did they come from? Because like everyone is at the street, they're all staring in front of them, and then that guy just gets sniped with an arrow. And then you see the Reapers coming in the middle of the street. So I'm like, okay, did they come from the woods? Were they in the trees? I'm a little confused on that part. But I will say that that was a pretty cool scene. And man, rest in peace to Roy. Extra number 2? It's the second character they lost on the supply run. And it's like, yeah, it's like, man.
Oh, episode. I wish we can't. Bro, in the last 3 episodes, they kind of like, you remember the episode with Maggie, like where all those people had died in episode 17. That's literally what they're doing, but they're doing it way slower.
Oh yeah, we're just losing Maggie's people.
I mean, I don't really care. Like, I mean, with Duncan, it's not like Elijah or Duncan where you care, but with the other characters like Cole, Agatha, it's like, it's like people like me. It's like we don't really care. We only care about the characters we like
yeah.
Elijah, Negan,
Duncan. I honestly can't believe Maggie shot Negan at the end of episode 3.
Don't talk about episode 3, please.
No, I'm joking.
Spoilers. That's why much
happen. That didn't happen. I'm joking.
Noah Logs edit says, yeah, I watched a lot of clips. I was kind of disappointed there was no big deaths. Yeah. What was that?
Hey, Brian.
Hold on, Epic. I'm reading the chat. Yeah, Noah, as far as deaths, like season 10 has, okay, I'm not going to say which characters die, but like The Walking Dead kind of takes it easy with like big deaths, because like after season 7 and 8, the show kind of decided to take it easy with deaths, because yeah, I mean, we just had such big deaths that the show just wanted to keep those characters going on longer until the end of the show. Oh, okay, go ahead, Epic. What's your question?
The only death that I know about because the trailers kind of spoiled it. AMC put her getting bitten in the trailers was Agatha.
I'm like, bro, what? I mean, like, not to cut anybody off, and not to talk about anything spoilerly in like in the stream, but I'm like, bro, I'm like, why? So I'm like, I don't know if you guys will agree with me on this. I'm like, why would you show a character's death in the trailer
Well,
of
they
this
did.
of the final season when we know, like, when we all like when we already know now who it is?
Yeah, remember people said it's Daryl? Like, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
No,
I
uh,
mean,
he,
it
he,
wouldn't
Yeah,
have.
yeah, I don't know who it was. Somebody was saying like, "Oh, it's Daryl," and I'm like, "Are you like high on something?
Well,
Like, are you
that's
high on
not.
sugar?" Because I'm like, bro, I don't think
Like,
I
Daryl
don't.
get bit.
apparently it was confirmed that it's that Agatha woman, part of Maggie's crew, because she was wearing the same gloves and similar outfit. So,
Well, it's not that bad. She ended
yeah.
up dying
I
anyway.
mean, if it was gonna happen, like I stated before, and I'll state it again, if it was gonna happen to a character, it should have happened to like a big character, like say Jerry or Alden, or
ooh,
say maybe somebody else, like maybe Gabriel gets bit. But to give it, like, I don't know if you agree with me on this, but in my opinion, just to give it to like a minor character like Agatha, it's like, why?
Hey, Brian.
yeah,
But me personally, I'm kind of getting sick of, I'm getting sick of them putting like bites in the trailers.
Yeah, they all every time they do it, it's so obvious. Like I think Fear season 3 did it. That was worse because they show a character getting bit, and they show Jake getting bit. Then they literally show him with the same shirt on. That was stupid to me. It was so obviously him. At least in The Walking Dead, you didn't know.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
me,
I mean, true, but then again, later on, we still figured it out, and it was still pretty obvious because that character was wearing the same exact shirt, and then the next thing you know, this person gets bit, and it's the same exact thing we saw in the trailer, and it's like, bro, why put that in the trailer if it's not going to be a big character, like I just said? I
like,
Guys,
don't know.
hey guys,
like,
you know who should have been on the supply run? I mean, I can think of a couple characters, but you know which character definitely should have been on the supply run? The Suicide Squad? Scott. Okay.
Oh yeah, I don't know why. If Scott and Lydia was like, if Scott and Lydia was also on that supply run, I feel like they both would have still died no matter what.
hey, Brian.
Yeah.
Like, I have no idea where Scott is. We have not seen him in both these episodes.
Yeah, and he is not even in episode 3. Like that's all I'm going to say about episode 3. Like I
And
don't
you
see him
want to know
anywhere.
who else is not in episode 3? Like, not to cut anybody off, but you want to know who else is not in episode 3?
Well, if it's a
Lydia.
big Oh, okay. Um
Can
oh,
we
and
try not to talk about episode 3 because I'm not trying to be rude Walker Dead, but you did kind of spoil Gage dying last stream.
I know that was a mistake because I was a little confused. I'm like, wait, did you guys see the second episode? But then again, no, but then again, it was still my fault anyway. But I mean, it was kind of like a mistake. I apologize about that.
Hey, Brian,
yeah.
would you say that episode 2, season 11, was the greatest episode in the franchise?
No. Not by any means. It had some problems. One of them is, you know, just how I feel about the Maggie character. I don't care how she tries to defend herself. She left everyone behind without saying goodbye for 6 years. I mean, and she almost got herself
Well,
and her son killed. There's no justifying what she did. It just,
Yeah, I definitely agree. I am not enjoying Maggie this season whatsoever.
I know,
that's
right?
the
Like, not to cut anybody off, but I mean, Maggie, in my opinion, is using past things as an excuse, and I'm like, that doesn't. I mean, sure, you can bring up all out war and the things Negan did in the past, all you want, but that still doesn't excuse the fact that you abandoned your people for another group that you don't even know. With George, like for example, with George's group, she doesn't know anything about that group. So for her to go out, play in the woods with Georgie, especially when you have Herschel, who's 2 years old, and especially when you're out by yourself and not with anybody, just makes you look bad. And putting your 2-year-old
Yeah,
son in
I,
danger, come
I,
on.
I was
Go,
gonna.
go ahead,
That's
Ken.
that goes. Oh, that goes under the thing I said earlier. Like when you guys you realize when you guys say something about Maggie, you have to like when you say something about a certain character. If another character does that same thing, you have to call them out on that as well. Like I
Oh, I
said
do. Yeah.
earlier,
Right.
Michonne did that same thing. I don't think any of
And
you guys were talking about that.
I mean, yeah, she did. I mean, yeah, you already brought this up. I don't know why you're bringing it up again, but yeah, I do agree with you. Maggie did the same exact thing. Like I said it before, and I'll say it again. In my opinion, with Michonne, she should have just said goodbye to everybody and waited until with the Whisper Award and like I just said, and then say goodbye to everybody. So that way, people don't think she's pulling a Maggie where she's leaving without saying goodbye and just to go play in the woods with another group that she doesn't even know.
Okay,
Hey,
Ken.
Brian.
Oh, hold on, Epic. I just want to tell Ken something real quick. Yeah, I definitely don't excuse what Michonne did, but the thing is with Maggie is that Maggie was gone for way longer, and like way longer, and then also right now the story seems to be focusing on the return of Maggie, and we're not seeing how Michonne's departure from the show is really affecting the characters. But we will get to that. I mean, absolutely in season 11, we will definitely talk about how Michonne leaving was just not the right decision at that time.
Not trying to spoil, but season three kind of talks about Maggie a bit. I mean, not Maggie, Michonne a little bit.
No spoilers, please, because we already discussed this. No spoilers.
Hey, Brian.
Yep.
That's why with me, I'm not trying to repeat the same mistake where I was spoiling something by mistake, and I don't want that to happen again. So please, no spoilers.
I hate AMC premiere. Honestly, it's so stupid. They just want money. I hope they don't do it in the series finale.
I know, right? I mean, let's be. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but like, imagine like the season finale of the show, like the season finale or the series finale of The Walking Dead season 11, and of the show. Like, imagine people seeing that shit a week early, and people are like going on YouTube or whatever and spoiling it for everybody. Like, imagine that. That's gonna feel super dumb and unrealistic if you ask me, because it's like, really, you're gonna ruin it for everybody.
Hey,
I don't know. It's
Brian.
ridiculous.
Okay. Hold on, guys. I think Epic wanted to ask something. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, like, when Negan, like, told everyone when he was pinned against the wall about killing Alpha and saving everyone from the Whisperers, do you think that's the reason why Maggie became softer towards him near the end of the episode?
Um, Not exactly. I think that one big thing is okay. With Negan leaving Maggie, you guys know I was against that. Even though yes, Maggie did threaten him, Negan is still a redemption character, and he does need to make it up to her at least a little bit, and that was his chance in a way. And then also Herschel, he knows that Herschel is a half orphan, so it's one of those things.
Exactly.
But as far
And
as Maggie leaving
also,
Gage, I don't defend Maggie leaving Gage. It's the same thing. What Maggie did, she literally proves herself a hypocrite in front of Negan and everyone, just like 2 minutes later or
well,
5 minutes later.
that's a little bit different because it wasn't just Maggie's decision. I'm pretty sure Alden was the only one really fighting for his life. I feel like if more of Maggie's group, even Negan, would have like said something, Maggie can't control everybody, so it was more of a vote thing without a vote because what Negan did, no one had a chance to like discuss that. He just did it. That was his own thing. Maggie didn't physically like do anything. All those other characters could have helped him too, and they decided not to because they didn't want to help him because they thought the same thing Maggie was thinking.
Hey,
So it's
I
not.
don't know.
Brian.
I mean, Maggie still looks bad because Maggie, like Brian said, she proved herself to be a hypocrite 2 minutes later. But then again, it still doesn't excuse the fact that she left Gage to die. She's being like this big bully to Negan. And I'm like, bro, just stop talking already. No one cares about what you think, especially when you abandon your own people and put your 2-year-old son mind you, 2 years old, like a little kid, 2 years old, technically still a baby, putting that kid in danger, especially when nobody there to back you up. It's like, bro,
Hey,
it just makes
Brian.
Maggie look bad.
Hey,
You guys think?
Brian.
Yeah, go ahead, Epic.
I just wanted to say, like, Walker Dead really did, like, prove a point, made a good point. Like, on the Discord here, he wrote a comment saying that the AMC writers are writing Maggie badly on purpose to kind of get back at Lauren Cohan for leaving the show to go to Whiskey Cavalier.
Yeah, that was the point I was trying to make. It's like, I don't know, like, I don't know how you guys, especially you guys in the chat, like, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I feel like the writers are just shitting on the actress, like giving the actress / the character bad material because the actress left The Walking Dead to go be on another show, in my opinion. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but that was the point I was just trying to make.
Yeah.
I will definitely say that the writing is not doing Maggie any favors right now. Okay. So yeah, we talked about the Commonwealth stuff. Eugene had that very interesting revelation where he found out something interesting about him. We don't have to say it, but you guys know what Eugene said, and that was a
He's a
surprise.
virgin.
Yeah. That was surprising. I mean, we all knew, but still, just the fact that he just says that out loud in the series, like, yeah. Okay, so as far as the Reapers, here's the thing. I love the Reapers' new design, but when did they get a makeover though? Like in 10C, that first Reaper we saw, he had a gun. He actually spoke to Maggie, and he actually wore camouflage
I think
outfit.
because I think he had a different role than because since they're like military, like former military people, they have different branches in their group. I guess I think he was one of those like stealthy ones, and I think the Reapers we saw today are like the more aggressive, like hand to hand ones or tactic smarter ones. I guess.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
You never talked about the scenes with Daryl and Dog doing their little thing, you know?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. When Daryl was crawling through that sewer, and then his hair was in the way, and he's just like, you know what I mean. He moved his hair like he touched his hair
guys.
off the sewer. Oh, that was so.
Did y'all?
I know,
Did y'all
right?
see
I'm
that?
like, bro. I'm like, why are you? Like, not to cut anybody off. I'm like, why are you gonna move your hair like that? I'm like, he's like this. Like, I'm not even joking. He's like, oh, my hair. I'm like, what in the world?
As I was saying, we all remember the scene where Daryl was looking at that painting. I don't know if anyone got the meaning of that, but I think it's him. Okay, so if you look at the pictures, kind of like people are like banishing or hating on this one dude, and I think that's like a symbolism that he kind of sees he sees like how Negan's being treated in that painting. That painting kind of represents how Negan's being treated, as being hated by everyone.
I have a
If y'all,
different theory. Oh, sorry.
yeah.
I have a different theory. I think they obviously showed all that money in the subway, and I think that's setting up the Commonwealth arc where the rich, the elite, the powerful, when the world ends, it doesn't mean anything. Like, kind of thing. Like, all these people, they tried to take their money with them when the world was ending, and it doesn't matter, and it's one of those things where it kind of shows like when rules break down, the majority will attack the people who used to be the elites, you know what I mean, to take what they have, kind of thing. I think that's what it was meant to show. Maybe that's like symbolizing the Commonwealth, because we know in the Commonwealth, the privileged or the elites, they get the best in the community. So
Well, I was talking about the painting, not the money. You don't remember the painting he was looking at, or like I don't know what he was looking at, but it was like a picture or a painting.
Yeah, it was. It was like a painting of like it was like 5 or 6 people wearing crowns, and then like the other 5 of them were attacking this guy with the one crown and a painting, and I'm like, I mean, I actually liked that little Easter egg because it showed how what could happen during an actual zombie apocalypse. You know,
Yeah.
like that because people like when people have things and those things are taken away, that's when people get desperate for survival, where they have to do the crazy stuff we already saw in the show, like people being cannibals or
Hey,
people
Brian.
you know.
Yeah.
So, do you think that the opening to this episode makes that cliffhanger at the end of episode one pointless?
It does, and it makes it worse. Here's why. They revealed in the trailers and promos that Maggie survives. It's so dumb, so they never should have done the cliffhanger. And then they show Maggie get swarmed. I mean, she's dead. She is being swarmed 100%, eaten pretty much. And then it's just, oh, she pulls a dumpster. She goes under the train, and she's like, fine, not bitten at all. It's such a cop out. I'm not saying she should have died. I'm just saying that the way they did it, we have seen in The Walking Dead where characters get swarmed like that, they die, But this is just plot armor.
Like,
I
I
know,
mean,
right?
like,
Not to
like,
cut anybody off. I'm not trying to mention the whole dumpster thing back in The Walking Dead season 6, but it pretty much is that. But only this time it's with Maggie, and only this time the plot armor is getting worse, where she's somehow going under the train, and then it's like I don't know why. I don't know. It's just stupid. It's like Fear the Walking Dead, where Strand kicked Morgan into that room with all those walkers, and then he just came out of nowhere, all fine, without
like,
without really
Exactly.
showing it. And I'm like, bro,
Exactly.
Well, that's because
like,
Morgan is a
Brian,
god.
Yeah.
like,
I know you guys are just joking, but I'm just saying, like, I'm just giving examples like the plot armor and showing things like having things happen without showing them is just ridiculous. I don't know. That's why I don't like stuff like that. It's like I'm like, okay, if this scene is gonna happen, then why don't you just show what happened?
Brian.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they were clearly trying to call back to season 6, episode 3, with having Maggie crawl under the, or I mean, season 6, episode 7, by having Maggie crawl under the train. That was clearly a callback to Glenn.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
was
know.
she?
Oh, you know what they should have done instead? This is what they should have done. They should have had Maggie crawl under the train, and we see from her perspective, and it's a direct parallel to the first episode where Rick is under the tank. They should have done
You
that
know something
Exactly, they should
weird?
have done that, man. I'm sorry not to cut anybody off, but they just should have done that. Oh
You know
goodness.
what's weird? Something I think is weird. Like if I was writing the season, this is two things I would do. Season 8 had really good callbacks because it was like the 100th episode or whatever. But without you remember, dang it, I can't really say. Well, can I say it? Because it's a sneak peek. Like the ending, it's not. It's in the sneak peek. Okay, well, there's like a scene. I won't say the scene, but it's like it's. I can't say it. Dang it, it's not even bad.
Wait, what
I'll
episode
tell
is
you
it?
Walking Dead later, but like there's scenes. Okay, so episode 3, the ending. All I'll say is Negan kills a walker, and he kind of and Maggie looks at him, and she like
Oh, it's too
thinks it kind of
spoilery.
reminds him. Oh,
Yeah, it's too spoilery.
Yeah,
Um,
we can't, like already said before, Ken, you can't be spoiling stuff in
well,
the chat
it's
because
just
you don't want
Negan
to
killing a
give
walker
bad.
though. But all
I
I'm
mean, I
saying is
know, but
that
like Brian said, it's going a little spoilery.
Hey, Brian.
yeah.
How did you feel about, when, Gage came back as a walker and he was just, staring at everybody through that window?
Yeah, that's kind of dark. It's kind of like that in your face. Like this is what, like you guys could have stopped this, and that decision, that consequence is like right there. Kind of like a reminder. But this is weird. So the walkers break down the door all of a sudden, and then Gabriel just like literally takes Gage out and like kills him, and it's like, oh well, so much for that. Um, but the thing is, like, didn't Gage have the bag with the ammo? That's one reason also I think they should have let him in. Like, because they said that Roy and Gage had the ammo and food on them. So I'm just thinking. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things where, because like,
Also, my bad. But Maggie's reason for leaving Gage is because she saw that the walkers were gonna get in. But honestly, they got in anyway. But of course, she didn't know that. But I think I think that's a BS like reason. They had so. I think I said this earlier, so sorry for repeating myself. But literally, they were monologuing for like 5 minutes, and they in those 5 minutes they could have just opened the door and closed it.
yeah, and also, I mean, seriously, look at Duncan. I mean, dude, they could have took turns, barricaded the door, held the door, killed walkers. I mean, they could have done anything. I mean, dude, look, seriously, like Duncan is a giant. I mean, come on.
Yes, I can't wait to see more of him from this season. I hope he gets like the Dante love thing. It's either Duncan or Eldon, I
I
think.
mean, you say that, but I mean, I saw season 11, episode 3, and I'm not going to spoil anything. But with some of the minor characters, I think you're going to be disappointed when you see what I've seen. I think you're going to be a little
You
disappointed.
realize
because
what you're saying is a spoiler, technically. Anyways,
I'm not really spoiling anything because I'm just saying like when you see season 11, episode 3, you're going to be a little disappointed. That doesn't mean I'm spoiling anything.
Well, no, but never mind. I'm not getting. But Brian? Who do you see getting like the Dante like thing, or do you think anybody will get like nobody will get it?
I made this prediction before, and I think it's a pretty good prediction. I think they're gonna have Maggie stay single, and kind of maybe give. I don't know. Do you think they might give her Commonwealth arc?
They
Because she's
have
single.
they. Well, I'm saying
I don't know.
I think her finding love will be the for only thing for her to forgive me again. I think.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, like, can you guys see anyone who would work with Maggie as far as a love interest? And I'm talking about,
No.
um,
I mean, like not to cut anybody off and not to be rude, but I mean, the only person that could have worked with Maggie, I think, yeah, like the only one I think could have worked with Maggie was Dante in the show, but they killed him in the show.
Well,
So
him and Dante.
they brought. I mean, even though they could have redeemed Dante in the show after we did to Sadiq, but I mean that was still a missed opportunity. Like Dante and Maggie getting together, it was definitely a missed opportunity in the show because in the show they could have mixed it up.
I think that confirms that they probably will keep her single. I mean, I don't really like Dante. That's weird. I feel like it should be because Dante just came out the blue. I think I've always thought it should be a character.
Hey, Brian.
I mean, in my opinion, I don't know. It was just, I don't know. I feel like they still could have done it in the show because if they would have done it in the show, I feel like they would have mixed it up and not kept the same garbage they had in the comics. You know.
Okay, let's let Epic talk. I guess.
Yeah.
Brian.
yeah.
So, did you agree with what Alden said about like Gage and Alden said like, poor kid, you didn't deserve that. You don't want to look at him. Do you? And then he didn't deserve
Yeah.
You
that.
know what they should have did in that scene? It's not like Alden's not that type of person, but I've seen scenes like that where like characters will like caught like something like that. I wish like Alden would have like walked up to Maggie and just turned her face to look at him forcefully, but that would have been killed. So probably wouldn't have been a good idea. But that would have been cool if he just like walked up to Maggie. It was like just forced her head. Like, how you gonna kill somebody and then decide not to look at them?
Hey, Brian, do you agree with Alden, what he said and stuff?
Yeah, here's the thing though. I don't understand. What is Gabriel talking about? I get he's going through a phase right now, but let's remember he also brought a herd to Carl and Michonne back in season 5, and he begged them to let him in. And they let him in. I mean, let's remember that. I mean, come on. Like, and also Gage is still a kid. Like, it's not like his actions got anyone directly killed. Or like it caused a war or something, you know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? It's minor. The things he did were minor.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
Exactly. I agree with you, bro.
Hey, Brian.
Yes.
I don't know why, but I find it funny how these past 2 episodes, we're just constantly just bashing Maggie and all the decisions she's made.
Yeah, here's the thing. You guys know I am fair with all the Walking Dead characters. I mention all of the bad decisions Rick has made, that Negan has made, that Daryl has made, and Maggie and Michonne. I mention them. You guys know I don't
Brian,
defend the characters.
that is Brian. That is exactly why. That is exactly why. Like, out of anybody in this community, you are truly the most, like, the best person to talk to, because most people are biased. Like, almost every single Rick fan I have met, they literally give him an excuse for everything he's done, and I'm glad you call out things he's done instead of just defending him because you like him as a character. I love that, because some
Yeah.
people just defend their favorite character, even though
I
they've
mean, with
done.
me, I don't really defend. I mean, you already know, Ken. Like, I already, like, told you, like, some of the things Rick should have never done. Like, for example, be all cocky, like, especially not knowing how many people Negan had during like season 6 of The Walking Dead. I definitely agree with that. He should have been more cautious and not cocky. Like,
Who do y'all think is the best leader we've ever had in the show,
Dude,
dead or alive?
man, honestly, like, it's so tough because they all have their pros and cons. Like, Maggie used to be one of the leaders I respected the most, but then, like, after this, I'm just like, yeah, no, Maggie, she's too stuck on the past to see the future. You know what I mean? And it's just,
I know. It's like, bro, like, not to cut anybody off. I'm sorry, but Maggie, instead of, like, for example, instead of staying at Hilltop and, like, defending, like, her true family, you want to know what she did? She, like, left her people without saying goodbye, just to go play in the woods with Georgie. And I'm like, and especially you're putting your 2-year-old son in danger, and then you come back 6 years later, and then you have the audacity to still blame Negan and to still try and kill Negan after you made your peace with it like 6.5 years ago. I'm still like, bro, like, what's your, like, what is your goal here? Are you trying to piss everybody off? Because it's working.
Hey, Brian.
yeah, Pick.
I watched Nikki. I watched Nikki and Steven react. Like, I saw their reaction to episode 2, and at the end of the episode, they were talking about how there's just a small ounce of, the Maggie we knew and loved in that character, but now she's just a new, cold, dark, just completely selfish character that is very unlikable now.
Yeah. This is not what I was hoping
Maggie's
for.
not likable. That's why I said this. That's why I was saying this, and I'll say it before. That's why I said that Maggie in my Walking Dead reboot series is way better than her TV show counterpart. Because with reboot series Maggie, let's be real, she would never abandon her people, not even Glenn or anybody.
Hey, oh yeah, by the way, Ken, thanks again earlier for saying that. That really means a lot. But what you said about me, mentioning every character's pros and cons, because yeah, like, I'll admit, yeah, Negan has seriously messed up with this. He messed up with the Saviors and killing Glenn, and then, you know what I mean? Like, certain decisions, obviously, he's made very bad decisions. Maggie as well. We talked about it. She left. She chose not to kill Negan. She kind of was part of that plan with Daryl that got Rick, quote unquote, killed. You know what I mean? And, like, they all have done horrible things, and yet Maggie is acting like she is still the victim after all these years. And I'm sorry, but it's not about her anymore. It's not about her.
Yeah, I definitely agree, Brian. Like, me personally, Maggie, she should just let it go, especially now that Negan, he's not that dictator anymore. He's a redeemed, changed man.
Exactly, but now it's like, not to cut anybody off, but now it's the reverse now, where Negan is trying to redeem himself and do everything he can to help the group and others but only this time it's reversed, where instead of it's Negan, it's now with Maggie. But only this time Maggie's being a bully to Negan, has the audacity to say, even though this is not really a big spoiler when I say this, because they already said it in the trailer, like, you destroyed everything we built. Like, for you to have the audacity to say something like that, to mention, like, a war, it's like, bro, just be quiet. Just don't say anything.
Hey, Brian.
Like I said before, and this lines up perfectly to any like Walking Dead character. If you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah, Epic. Go ahead. After you, Ken. Let's let Ken talk. So, go ahead, Epic.
Do you think them bringing back Maggie was a mistake?
Here's the thing. No, I don't think it was a mistake. It was the final season. They had to bring her back, because otherwise, that would have been very weird for the character to just have been gone all these years. I mean, just like Michonne and Rick to never come back. But I will say that as far as the way she's doing it is just not good, because Maggie has been gone for so long, and she is just too emotional right now. And all of a sudden, she is the kind of like leader, sort of, and she's willing to sacrifice people's lives when I feel like she has no business to. And she calls out Negan for his past mistakes, but Maggie is forgetting her own shortcomings. Let's remember what Maggie has done, okay? She, did that whole plot with Rick. She let Negan live. She left without saying goodbye, endangering herself and her son. And she got put in a situation where she is now cold because she saw something very traumatic, and no one was there to help her. And that's because that was her choice. And now she finally comes back after not, sending letters or whatever all these years. And, she's leading the group through this territory. And yes, I get it. She wants to help them find food and stuff, but she also is not really showing her caring side to them. Like, she's not, like, characters are just dying, and for this kind of mission that Maggie has, and it just, I mean, I get that they have to do it for food, but still, it's like, this is, I don't know, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't think Maggie is the right person to lead this group. I don't know if she is.
She isn't, because let's be real, she still made the same mistakes. She has the audacity to try and kill Negan again, and I'm like, Maggie, you had your chance. You had your chance to kill him, and the fact that you're being a bully, and on top of that, you're not letting any of that go after 6 years, it's still like, bro, like, what are you doing?
Okay, go ahead, Ken.
That's why I agree with Brian.
I was gonna say, when people say you had your chance, that also annoys me, because the only reason why she didn't kill Negan is because he was in a cell. So now that he's not in the cell, her point of not killing him goes away. So of course she wants to kill him now. The only reason why she wanted to kill him is gone from the equation now.
Yeah, but I guess what we're saying is that, like, Michonne literally gave Maggie the chance years ago. That was her chance. And I'm sorry, but Maggie, if she really thought that Negan was going to be in that cell forever, she was not thinking straight, because forever is a long time. I mean, honestly, did she really think there wasn't a chance he could leave again? I mean, Maggie made that decision to let him live, and she should have known at some point there's a chance that Negan could get out. Could I live with that? And Maggie chose to walk away, not killing Negan, so she has to live with that choice. She has to.
Also, Negan got out like 3 times, right? And just came back.
It was 2 times, because the first time he actually got out, and then he went back, and then he decided to go back in the cell. And then the second time is where, as we know, Carol went down, and it was like Carol's like to Negan, like, I need your help to kill Alpha. If you do, blah blah blah, you'll be accepted. Which, in my opinion, that's still like, a flaw, because I don't know if you guys would agree with me on this. But Carol, like Carol doesn't have, like, the power to be like, hey, everybody, Negan just, did this, blah, blah, blah. Like, she doesn't have that kind of power. It's not like Michonne, or say, like, someone else, like Father Gabriel. But I mean, that right there, that's why I call that out right there, because that's definitely a flaw. Because Carol was making a choice for herself and not involving the rest of the group. That's why I put out flaw.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, the only reason Carol let Negan out of that cell is because, they needed help to defeat the Whisperers.
Hey guys,
that's why Carol went down there to let him out, because he wanted Alpha dead. So,
okay, guys. So we have about 30 more minutes left of the stream. Just giving you guys fair warning. Okay, so the thing is with, I gotta be honest. If you guys were a Walking Dead character and Maggie left without saying goodbye, it's one of those things where it's like, could you see yourself being still a friend to her, being loyal, just accepting her with open arms?
Well, did she leave? We don't really know if she left without saying goodbye, because she didn't leave. She didn't leave as soon as Rick. I don't think she left as soon as Rick died. I think she stayed for a couple of months. So
yeah,
we
she
don't really
stayed
know.
a year.
I mean, that part, like, not to cut anybody off, like, that part could be true, but then again, there's still so much they didn't really tell us. So it's like you said, it's like, how do we know that she really left without saying goodbye or not? Because let's be real. Here's the thing: they didn't show anything, and they didn't fully go into detail nor explain what went down, like how Maggie really leave. That's why I call it a plot hole, because that's something we might never see now, because it's the final season of the show.
Oh, Ken, here's why I'm saying that Maggie left without saying goodbye. We know that Michonne had no idea Maggie was gone. We know she had no idea. So that's everyone in Alexandria. Daryl was in the woods, so he probably had no idea either. I mean, and as far as I'm trying to think of Hilltop. As far as Hilltop, we know that Paul and Tara, they did get at least one letter from Maggie, but still, the fact that they didn't go with her kind of tells me that, or like, nobody went with Maggie. Like, she confirmed that this episode. It was just her and Herschel. Her 2-year-old son, mind you, and it's just, I really cannot. If Maggie left and said goodbye to some people, there's no reason why she would have been by herself. Like, somebody would have went after her, but she doesn't say that. So that's just an educated guess. I think that's a likely educated guess.
Ryan, I wanted to ask you this. Do you? I don't know if you agree. Correct me if I asked you this before, but I want to ask you this. Do you think Maggie in My Walking Dead reboot series is way better than her TV show counterpart?
I will say that, yes, Maggie in season 2 was a better character than how she is currently, because it's just, this is not Maggie. I mean, it just isn't. Like, this is not, like, Beth, Herschel, and Glenn, they would all just be shocked at this new Maggie, and I can't support it. I just can't. I mean, this is not a Maggie. Yeah, this is not a Maggie who lost Glenn, like, just lost Glenn. Like, no, it's been like 9 years since she lost Glenn, and she still is this cold person who is willing to sacrifice people, but I don't know. And she still has, like, so much hate in her heart for Negan, but it's like, then why did you leave? It's just, her leaving literally did nothing to stop her from hating Negan. Like, whether if she stayed or left, like, it's the same. Like, she left to get Negan out of her head, but it didn't help at all.
Yeah, I feel like if she would have stayed those 6 years, she definitely would have forgave him.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brian.
Yes.
So that story that she told to everybody about, there being worse ways to die, you didn't like that story?
I mean, it's creepy, but the thing is that story, when I hear that, I'm just thinking, yeah, Maggie, that was your fault that you were in that situation.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's like, bro, it's like I like not to cut anybody off, but I still agree with you, Brian. It's like yeah, she put herself in that situation, and on top of that, she chose to go by herself. She chose to go by herself. She chose not to tell anybody like, hey, I'm gonna go with Georgie. Like she's no idiot. She knew exactly what she was doing. And the fact that I don't know, the fact that she even mentioned that story without anybody being like really you went to this location without any backup, that just blows my mind. I'm sorry, but that just blows my mind right there.
Something else that's stupid is she literally says in that story that she didn't trust him, but she was desperate.
Yeah, she was
That's so
desperate for
stupid
food.
to me.
Yeah, that's also weird. I'm just thinking like, okay, wait a minute. So Maggie not only went by herself, but she and Herschel were also struggling on the road to survive. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, what in the world? Like, did she not even pack a bag to go to George's community or a horse? Just nothing. I'm just thinking, I'm like, because it's not far, right? The Meridian. We know the characters are going to get to it at some point. So I'm just thinking, I'm like, man, like did she not even tell Georgie she was coming? Like, for Georgie to send some people on the road to her, like, to meet her in the middle of the road. I don't know. It's just crazy to me.
And Brian,
Yeah.
something that's really bugging me is where the hell is Ken and Eduardo?
Oh, you mean Cal and Eduardo? Yeah, I don't know
Oh yeah,
either.
Cal. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if after the time skip, after Maggie left, like a bunch of people left the communities to go find other places to live. Maybe find their families.
That's so stupid. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That's literally what Morales did. Or like with I forgot the people in Fear, but leaving a community that's not under a threat is so stupid to me.
Yeah, but the characters do it all the time
Because
in The
yeah,
Walking Dead.
Cal and Eduardo, because yeah, Cal and Eduardo, they're just gone, vanished.
I know the show forgot about them. That's bad, honestly.
Same with Cindy and Rachel Ward from Oceanside. Like the show forgot about them, and I'm like, bro, how are you gonna forget about these characters without like really you're gonna have like I'm like, okay, you have characters like Cal and Cindy, right? You're gonna have characters like them in the show and not do anything with them and just forget about them. That's super under. I don't know why, but that's just unrealistic if you ask me.
Because when Maggie returned, you'd expect Cal or Eduardo to be with her, one of them, but no, she returned and they're nowhere to be found.
Exactly. This is why it makes Maggie look so bad.
They probably died.
But from what? We didn't see them before the Whisper War and after the time skip. So
exactly, I feel like they didn't even show anything. So the fact that they didn't show anything to me shows that one, they forgot about those characters, and two, that just shows they just don't care.
I think Waldo died, didn't he?
No, Eduardo didn't die.
Dying.
No, Eduardo didn't die on screen.
He didn't. Again, if they didn't show it, if they didn't show that character die, if we didn't see a walker body of that specific character, then that character's not dead. That means that character's unknown. And that means the show most likely won't bring them back because most likely, like Brian said, the show forgot about that character.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah?
It wouldn't honestly surprise me if, Cal or Eduardo both died off screen.
That's so, I agree. It's so laughable. That's what they did to Mikey. That's what they did to a lot of people from the Sanctuary. Like Negan's wives. What happened to Amber? And Alice. She's Francine's daughter. Marcus. He's Scott's son.
Yeah, what happened to Tanya, another one of Negan's wives? What happened to this one character at the Kingdom, this little girl? Like, what happened to her? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like you have, like, what's the point of introducing these characters if you're not going to do anything with them?
I don't know,
like especially Cal. Like, they made Cal resemble Glenn on purpose, and now he's just gone.
Exactly, man. I don't know. I think that's a show just it's trying to rush to the finish line, and you know what I mean. And they only want to use certain characters. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, we could have had Cal, Eduardo, Sydney all in the Suicide Squad. I mean, come on. Oh, and I'm sorry, Oceanside is the worst community in The Walking Dead. Like, as far as currently, because they have not helped.
Community.
No, Oceanside. Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying Oceanside is the most selfish and worst community in The Walking Dead out of the Alliance, because they literally do nothing. Like, they don't help at all. They didn't really help at all in the Whisper War, and they're not helping right now in season 11 with anything. The suicide mission, Oceanside like barely helps out, and they're supposed to be one of the main communities, left. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I mean, am I wrong about this? What the heck is Oceanside?
No, Brian, you're 100% like 100% correct, because let's be real, Oceanside in the show, they did not, like, during all war, like, I'm not even joking, they didn't want to fight back because they're being cowards. And then when we get to like the Whisper War, they're nowhere to be seen. And then when we get to The Walking Dead season 11, like current time where we're at right now, we don't even see Rachel or Cindy on that suicide mission. Like what the heck's going on here?
I know. I cannot believe Oceanside being introduced. This is one of the biggest mistakes in the show. They are such a pointless, useless, and unnecessary community, because if they had any importance, there would be a couple members in this mission. But there aren't any.
Yeah.
Like, I think the last time we physically saw Oceanside was the season 10 premiere.
Yeah, we saw Sydney. That was her last appearance.
Yeah. That, Brian, I want to ask you this. I know it's not really a big thing, but do you feel like do you agree with me when I say I'm going to do Oceanside justice in my Walking Dead reboot series?
I truly believe so, man. Because honestly, there is not a writer that can do Oceanside like worse, because like what I've seen of the show with Oceanside, it is terrible, man. I mean, they are at least the Junkyard Group had some importance, even if they were terrible. But my goodness, Oceanside is such a pointless community, and it's supposed to be one of the main ones, and it's just, I mean, dude, like, this is nothing
to make them interesting, because they honestly had an interesting story for them to like be former, like, people.
Yeah, I mean, here's Negan right here. They act like Maggie is the only one who suffered at the hands of Negan. What about Negan's ex-wives? What about all of the Oceanside women? None of them acknowledge Negan. None of them.
But that's because Negan's not the one who like did all that. I don't think, right? It was Simon.
How are you gonna say Simon did all that when, remember, Negan was still the one? Now listen, Negan was still the one that had like Sherry, Amber, Tanya, Frankie, like all of Negan's wives. Like, he had them all like under his thumb, like to their will. Meanwhile, Cindy lost her brother, her mother, and pretty much half of her family because of Simon and the Saviors, regardless if Negan was told him to do it or not. Negan was still the cause of that, mind you. And by the way, that is in the Walking Dead wiki if you Google that. But yeah, like Brian said, Negan still did all this crazy stuff in the past, but then again, you have Maggie that's being the victim. Well, then again, like Brian said, what about Negan's wives? What about Cindy? What about Cal and Eduardo? What about Jesus? What about Tara? What she lost? What about Rick? What about Michonne? What about Daryl? Because Daryl, especially, he went through some stuff.
Oh, yeah, thanks, man. Also, hold on, Epic, really quick. Also, man, the fact that Maggie doesn't mention anyone that died, Enid, Paul, Tara, I mean, she doesn't even mention them at all.
Yeah, like not to cut anybody off. I'm like, bro, just thinking about that. Like, imagine,
Well,
I'm not
everyone
even
does
joking.
that
Imagine
though.
if Enid, like, listen, I'm trying to make a point here. Like, imagine if Jesus and Enid were still alive in The Walking Dead season 11, and if they saw, imagine if they saw what Maggie did. How do you think they would feel if they saw that?
Uh,
If they saw what we saw, what Maggie did.
oh
Well,
yeah.
as I was,
Go ahead, Ken.
well, almost every character, like not almost every character in the, like not even almost every character in the show. Every time a character dies, they stop mentioning them. The most mentioned character who has died in the show that's mentioned all the time is Glenn.
Yep.
We hardly they hardly mention Abraham. They mention him every once in a while. Hardly mention Lori. Hardly mention Carl. Hardly mention like all those characters.
I mean, yeah, but then again, like let's be real. Like let's look at it from the story perspective. If these characters, like say Jesus, Enid, and Tara, died by the whispers in the show, why aren't they talking about it? Because I'm not even joking. In the Walking Dead season 9 finale, they were not mentioning the heads on spikes at all. That's why I say I felt it like the season 9 finale was a filler episode because they never even mentioned the heads on spikes.
Hey,
And
Brian.
even Maggie didn't even mention the heads on spikes.
I know. The show is just, it's trying to move too fast. But like, don't get me wrong, I'm okay with them mentioning Glenn the more than any other dead character. But still, there's other victims of Negan and Alpha's victims. I mean, come on, that still should be fresh in everyone's minds.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah, go ahead, Epic.
Me personally, I think the problem with The Walking Dead is it's just got way too many, bad writers and cocky showrunners.
I mean, here's the thing. I watched Ronnie's video, and yeah, dude, it's the budget. The budget. If the budget was better, we could have had this Suicide Squad be a lot bigger, and that would have been better. I mean, I'm talking about people from Oceanside, Scott, maybe Luke from Magnus Group, like somebody from Magnus Group. Like, come on, just a little
Well,
bit. Like the
well,
budget is the
Luke's
issue.
filming a movie. The actor who plays him.
Oh my
I
goodness,
mean,
why did they do that?
but I still feel like they still could have gotten the actor that played Luke in the show. I still feel like they could have gotten him to be like in 2 of the bonus episodes.
How?
Because I'm just like not to cut anybody off. I'm just saying, like they did that with Jerry and with Barbara. I'm like, why couldn't you do that with characters like Scott or Luke or how even
That's because
Cindy?
Barbara. That's because the actor of Barbara actually lives in Atlanta.
Hey, Brian.
But yeah, but I mean that part's true. But then again, they're still. It's like Scott, where that character doesn't pop up until later. Like really.
Yeah, I just don't know. Also, I don't get this. In The Walking Dead, they really gotta give characters. When characters are filming in a season, they gotta do contracts where it says like, listen, you can't film in a movie just yet. You gotta be in this number of episodes. Because like, yeah, not seeing a character for like half a season, it just feels weird. Like, I don't know. It takes you out of the experience. Yeah, go ahead, Epic.
I just wanted to say, like, do you think that every character in the Walking Dead franchise is flawed?
Yes, I will say that, but there are, how I feel about certain characters, how like there are very few like almost like perfect characters. Like Alicia is like almost a perfect character. Glenn, is almost a perfect character, or was, what I mean? Because of how much I enjoyed those characters. But did I want to see more with Glenn? And do I want to see more with Alicia? Absolutely. That's why they're not really perfect characters. But they're characters who haven't made as many mistakes, I feel like, as characters like Maggie, like Daryl, like Negan or Rick. What I mean? So I'm more on their side. Like I'm more supportive of them. But yeah, here's the thing. Flawed characters are fine, but when you have some characters in the show who they're not even a character, like they get no screen time, it's one of those things where it's like, well, how am I supposed to feel about that character? I mean, out of everyone in Magna's group, Luke has gotten the least screen time. And like, look at Connie. She's very likable, but she has gotten very little screen time too. I mean, it's just
Uh, yeah.
yeah, it's screen time is
Another
the issue.
another character that has gotten zero screen time is Jules.
Yeah, what was the point of Jules? She was in the season 10 premiere and then the finale, and that's it. She wasn't in 10C. She's not in season 11 currently, and it's like they were kind of setting up some kind of romance between her and Luke, but it's like I just don't get it. I just don't get it one bit. It makes no sense.
I know, right? It's like, bro, Brian, I want to ask you this. I know this is a stretch, but could next stream? Could you talk about like my Walking Dead reboot series? Why? Because next Monday is my birthday. Because that's why I asked. Like, can you talk about my Walking Dead reboot series, even if it's for like a second, because my birthday is coming up next Monday.
This is tricky because I'm gonna be in Savannah on the 6th, but I will try to do like a episode 3 / Walking Dead reboot stream if that's okay with you. Like definitely kind of share it. Yeah.
Happy birthday, Walker Dead.
Yeah,
Thank
happy
you.
early
I really
birthday, man.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll try to do on Monday. I'll try to do a stream, like cut it between episode 3 and the reboots, like what I would like to see or how I'm enjoying stuff. So yeah, I'll definitely try, man.
Hey, Brian.
Great.
Yeah. Hey guys, we got 8 minutes left, and then I have to go.
So overall, how are you feeling about TV Mercer?
Oh my goodness, I love TV Mercer. Way better. He's already getting a lot better than the comic version because the comic version didn't get much screen time. I love how intimidating he is. Like this isn't like like a soft teddy bear character like Tyrese or Jerry. Well, honestly, Jerry's better than Tyrese. But what I'm saying is like this guy, dude, like he just looks like one of those guys that is from the military and he works out every day. I mean, dude, this guy is literally like so intimidating in the apocalypse, and that's like even before he would be intimidating, but like after the apocalypse, oh my goodness.
So you think they got the perfect actor?
I do. I wish this could have been like TV Tyrese, but you know what I mean. But like, still, I'm glad they're getting Mercer right, at least in my opinion. So.
Yeah, I mean, with me, I was just telling Epic this. I was just telling them where I think Comic Book Mercer worked even more because of how good he was, like similar to the TV show version. But like you said, they just didn't give Mercer and the comics enough screen time, and that's where, in my opinion, they should have done that, because if they would have done that, then people would have been like, "Oh snap, Comic Book Mercer is intimidating," just like they're doing with him in the show.
Yeah.
Hey, Walker Dead.
What's up, Epic?
So do you think that Michael Robert Shaw, or however you say his name, was a good choice for Mercer, that you would actually pick him for your reboot series?
Absolutely. Like, come on. Like, Michael Shaw, I'm sorry. Michael Shaw is not only a really good actor, but he fits as not only TV show Mercer, but comic book Mercer. Like, I don't know. Something about his appearance just gets me in, and I just love it every second of it.
Well, yeah. Well, he's fit. He's fit for the role, literally.
I think it's the red or orange armor. It's like spot on from the comics.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I heard you, Epic. I agree 100%. Like, whenever the actor looks just like the comic book character, and when he's wearing the armor, it looks complete. Like, this is like the perfect guy to play this character.
It's kind of similar to Beta, how like Beta, he looked just like comic Beta.
Exactly.
Let's see how much. Okay, yeah, we got 5 minutes. My goodness, I'm sorry. It's like, like I love how Negan is like at the center of this group. Also, we don't see Maggie and Agatha anywhere, which is kind of interesting. It's just the men in this shot. But oh my goodness, imagine, it'd be funny. Imagine if when Maggie introduced her group back in the first episode. Imagine she goes, "Oh yeah, everyone, this is my old group. Meet Dead 1, Dead 2, Dead 3, and Duncan." And then Duncan is just like, "Yeah, everyone likes me because I'm noticeable." Like, because it's so true. He's literally the most noticeable of Maggie's group. Like, it's just so funny.
Hey Brian.
Yeah.
I think I asked this question to Dan in one of his left a comment in one of his videos, but me personally, for all the people in Maggie's crew that dies, I 100% blame her.
Exactly. Like I agree with you, Ethic. It's like with Maggie, she didn't really have to have all of her group members there, but then again, she still knew what she was doing, obviously, and she still chose